Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show not on TV. We got a super light slate of games this week. Got the Eagles traveling to Metlife to take on the New York Giants. That's going to be an interesting one. We got the Commanders that are going to welcome the Panthers to Northwest Stadium for the Ron Rivera Bowl, two teams that Ron Rivera coached. And tonight we got Spencer Rattler taking on Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. This is really not that interesting of a slate of games. I can't wait till the Beard gets up here so we can talk about this one. But without further ado, let me welcome in the best co-host in the country, the left side to the strong side duo, my brother from another mother. The Beard is in the building. What's cracking, fam? How you living?
I'm doing good, man. I got a busy schedule the next 9 days. I'm looking 9 days in advance. It's gonna be kind of crazy. So tomorrow got a little baby doctor's appointment in the morning, and then I'm heading to the Chantilly Sports Card Show in Virginia. So that'll be dope. You
got to buy this week for your Washington Commanders because this game against the Panthers. I don't even want to say it's a trap game. This is gonna be a W for the Commanders.
There's been all the Jaden Daniels stuff going around. The picture of him on a bench, at the end of the game last week, just looking like he's gonna he's coming for a vengeance next week.
This Wolverine
and then
back.
He had the Southeast Ninja mask on at practice today. So
the Southeast Ninja mask, man. It's a Pooh Shiesty mask, man. This guy making up new terms.
It's the gas station by my house, not too far from the crib. There's a sign on the door that says "No Ninja mask allowed."
Yeah, they was banning them things in schools and all that. Yeah,
they got another name for it. I can't remember what it is, but listen. It's the Merton Hanks. Merton Hanks was rocking it before Pooh Shiesty was. You know what I'm saying? But I know. Listen, tonight's going to be interesting. I was talking to Awthentik before we started. I said, man, there's some injuries in that Saints lineup that's going to open up some doors for some guys that you've probably never heard of before. And then obviously, the Saquon coming back to New York. I thought it was interesting his response to being asked if he thought he was going to be booed or not.
Yeah, I think he was bullshitting on that. He knows what's going to happen. He's going to get booed like shit when he walk in that stadium.
You think so?
Absolute, man. Have you seen the brainwashing that the New York Giants have done to the fan base on Twitter? People hate Saquon. Tiki Barber even came out and said he's dead to us. Come on, man. Let's be real here. He's going to walk out that tunnel, boo! And every time he touches the ball, they're going to boo the shit out of him. Let's be real here.
But you wouldn't boo him, though. Awthentik's not a booer.
Man, dude, I'm wishing Saquon well, man. Go out here, do your thing. I want the Giants to win the game, but Saquon, I'm rooting for him to have a good season this year.
There's a lot of people out here that are like, I want to beat the Eagles, and then after that, we could just, scoot straight to the tank mode. You know what I'm saying?
Get ready for this draft, right?
Yeah. But I mean, listen, there's going to be some guys coming back for the Giants. It's going to be big. The Eagles got their weapons back last week. So it's a big game, to be perfectly honest with you, for both of these teams, if you want to look at it from the perspective of, making a move to this title, because there's a lot of talk in Washington, Washington needs to, go grab this thing by the throat, because this is the most, confused this division has been in a long time. I mean, the Cowboys stink right now. The Eagles aren't very good, and the Giants have Daniel Jones at quarterback. So this is an opportunity for Washington to kind of, take things by the, what do they call it? Grab the bull by the horn.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of smoke. I think, Washington is probably the surprising team in the division, but the Giants have been the Giants. I mean, we're just stuck where we've been at in the last couple of years here. Dallas Cowboys haven't got off to a good start, but they're still in the mix. Philadelphia Eagles, same thing, got a winning record here. They're still in the mix too. So I commend the fan bases, the other three fan bases in the NFC East, because y'all are definitely getting a dosage of some good football. Whereas New York Giants, it's back to the kennel right now for the New York Giants. It's been a tough season thus far, and I can't believe it's just October. In one way, it kind of feels like the season's flying by, but in another way, it feels like, can we get this shit over with?
Yeah, it's like
what's going on.
I'll give you another Tim Beardism right here. It's the death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah. It's definitely been that. It's been terrible. But let's get right off into it, man. I want to talk about the New York Giants first. So let's talk about the Eagles traveling up to MetLife to take on the New York Giants in the Saquon Barkley Bowl here, revenge game.
Giants are on the board with 11:16 to go here in the third.
Man, where where do we start with these New York Giants, man? These New York Giants right now sitting at 2-4. Philadelphia Eagles coming in at 3-2. Eagles are favored by 3 at MetLife. The over-under is 43. I'm going to just tell you right off the bat, I don't think we're going to get there. This is going to be a low-scoring game here. Last week, the Giants lost to the Bengals at home, 17-7. The Eagles beat the Browns 20-16. Last meeting between these two teams, 2023 season, the Giants beat the Eagles 27-10 to end the year. The Eagles have won 13 of the last 16 matchups against the New York Giants. Ooh. The Giants have won just 7 of the last 33 matchups since 2008. It's been tough, and scoring has definitely been an issue. And the New York Giants offense has been on the field a ton. Daniel Jones has, I want to say, the 4th most attempts in the NFL right now. The Giants are the first team in 60 years to run 395 or more offensive plays, but score under 100 points and have a losing record through the first 6 games of the season. Shout out to homie WBG84 on Twitter one time for giving us that one. The Giants and the Eagles are coming into this game, though, with significant injuries. Yes, the Eagles did get back A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, but they lost their left tackle, Jordan Mailata, last week. He's going to be out for several weeks, according to Nick Sirianni. Andrew Thomas news is out there, out for the year, had surgery, successful surgery on his foot. Liz Frank fractures what he had. And the injury-prone thing is definitely being thrown around now because he's had injuries pretty much in every one of his years outside of 2022. And the Giants are trying to scramble right now, figure out what the options are going to be at left tackle for this game coming up against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. And you got Joshua Zedu, you got Evan Neal. You could possibly move Jermaine Illuminor over there, but you're going to open up another hole on the right tackle position. Are we going to go back to Evan Neal at right tackle?
Were there any reports out of practice yet about what they're going to do, like who's running with the ones right now?
Joshua Zedu is looking like he's getting the snaps right now. But they also said that they're not opposed to working out somebody, a veteran, bringing in a veteran at left tackle as well. Pat Leonard did report that earlier today. Jermaine Illuminor has some experience at left tackle in, with all the 3 previous destinations that he was with the Ravens, the Patriots, and with the Las Vegas Raiders. So, I mean, he's capable, but I just think that that's going to open up that hole. And Evan Neal has been practicing at right tackle for the most part, and I think that's why they don't want to move him to left tackle. But that is his natural position, so I think it's something to keep your eye on. The Giants dealing with Kayvon Thibodeau on the IR, obviously. Dexter Lawrence coming into this game banged up with a hip injury, along with Brian Burns with the groin injury. Both those guys were day-to-day. Not sure if they practiced today or not. But Dable is definitely in a position here where he's going to have to show that, when he was the coach of the year, we're going to have to see some of those same vibes again. The good news is that Malik Neighbors should be playing on Sunday. He cleared the concussion protocol. He was a full participant in practice today with no red jersey on and whatnot. So I'd expect to see him out there on the field. To me, and, I kind of gave a lot of people some pushback on Bleacher Report when Bleacher Report kind of like falsely labeled one of my takes over there as like, who was the X factor of the game, when I was really just saying like, these are some key matchups. But I think the X factor in this game is going to be kind of obvious. It's going to be the quarterbacks. I think we know what we're going to get from all the other positions. This is going to be Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts. Whoever plays better in this game is probably going to see their team get a victory in this one. Both quarterbacks right now, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year, not playing their best ball. Daniel Jones has played one more game than Jalen Hurts. And we know about the deficiencies at home with Daniel Jones right now. Just no touchdowns through the air at home, 4 interceptions, a passer rating of 60.8. I saw one today that said that Daniel Jones, since signing the contract, has a passer rating that is just 3 over Tim Tebow's career passer rating. So we're talking about a quarterback that, since he signed that dotted line, has definitely been struggling. 5 for 25 on deep passes this year. And, last week was a pretty tough performance from Daniel Jones. 22 of 41 for 205, passer rating of 57.5, a QBR of 18.3. And right now, since signing the contract, Daniel Jones has 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, in all of his games, which it looked good for 4 weeks, we'll say. But if you look at it in its total, it's definitely been a struggle. The Giants are 0 for 3 this season when Daniel Jones throws 40 or more passes in a game. So to me, that's the recipe right there. Limit the amount of attempts that Daniel Jones throws, because in those games, he also doesn't have a single passing touchdown where he throws for over 40 attempts, which makes absolutely no sense
at all.
You would think the more you throw the ball, you would at least get a touchdown, right? Now, Jalen Hurts has had his fair share of struggles as far as the turnovers go. And I'll kick this over to you once I'm done talking about these 2 quarterback matchups here. But last week was a clean game. 16 of 25 for 264, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. First game of the year for Jalen Hurts without a turnover. He's got 7 turnovers on the year, 3 fumbles, 4 interceptions. And Jalen Hurts has had a turnover issue since he signed his big deal too. 26 turnovers for Jalen Hurts in 22 games since signing his deal in April of 2023. Now, it's 22 games, 15 interceptions in 2023, 6 interceptions, or 4 interceptions just this year thus far, 5 fumbles lost as well. Now, Daniel Jones has 11 turnovers in 12 games since signing his deal, 6 interceptions in 2023, 4 interceptions this year, 1 fumble lost. Jones missed 11 games in 2023, though. Now, for me, it's if you're going to turn the ball over, you have got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. I think that that's the most important part. And I've had people in discussions with me on Twitter talking about they'd rather have Daniel Jones as their quarterback over Jalen Hurts, and I don't see that comparison quite yet. Now, Daniel Jones has 9 total touchdowns in 11 games since signing his contract, 2 passing in 2023, 6 passing this year, 1 rushing last year, 0 rushing touchdowns for Daniel Jones this year. Jalen Hurts has 46 touchdowns in the 22 games since he signed his deal. 23 passing last year, 15 on the ground last year, 6 passing this year, 2 rushing this year. So I think that difference is probably likely going to show up in this game. I am more confident in the New York Giants defense, though, going up against Jalen Hurts than I am with that Philadelphia Eagles defense going up against Daniel Jones. We've seen Daniel Jones and Brian Dable have success with throwing the ball short, intermediate, taking care of the ball, not turning it over, which I think, the methodical drives have been an issue this year, and we aren't getting the type of explosive plays that we quite want to see just yet. But I think that playing it safe is going to be better than playing it sorry, and I do think that Brian Dable is going to try to come to this, to the table with a game plan this week that emphasizes the run a little bit more. We saw Tyrone Tracy only get 3 carries last week. I think that we're going to see a heavy dosage of the run early on in this first half, and the Giants are probably going to likely try to prove why they don't need Saquon Barkley as a part of this roster this year by giving Tyrone Tracy and the other running backs by committee the ball. But what are you seeing in this matchup before we move on?
Listen, nobody thinks that they would rather have Jalen Hurts as a quarterback over Daniel Jones except for New York Giants fans. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, you mean the flip-flop? Yeah.
We're going to be clear on that. I mean, I'm going to stand on business about Saquon. I think Saquon has a 200 total yard game.
That's egregious, man.
Just going to.
You see his game logs for the last 3?
Yeah, I know, but listen, this is different. There's a lot. This is in here, in the heart right here. Okay, there's interesting numbers here. Obviously, the neighbors' return is going to be huge for the Giants. Okay, there's no question about that. I think you hit it perfectly with the Tracy and the run game and all that. The New York Giants have to realize that their identity right now is defensively. Right? Like their defense is their strong suit. I mean, that's a fact. So I think you have to start playing to that. And that includes having a successful run game, trying to, maintain some drives at least and score some points. The problem with the Giants is they just cannot find a way to score. And it's bad. Like it's really bad. But diving into the numbers, I'll tell you, the Philadelphia Eagles, there's a lot of things where the Eagles and the Giants are very similar. It's just the Eagles, and that's a big difference between Jalen Hurts, I think, and Daniel Jones, is the Eagles know how to win football games. The Giants don't know how to win football games. And a lot of that, it falls on the quarterback position. Now, the Eagles defense, actually, this is an interesting number to me. They have allowed the 5th fewest first downs in the entire league this year. They've only allowed 96 first downs all year long. So, you see some of these teams or some of these games where they're getting 20-plus first downs in a game. The Eagles have only allowed 96 first downs. That's the 5th fewest in the league. Now, the one thing about the Eagles defense is they're not a bend-don't-break defense. They are a break defense, okay? They have the 7th worst defensive scoring percentage in the NFL. Teams are scoring on 46.9% of their drives against the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, that's the 7th worst in the National Football League. The problem is the Giants have the 6th lowest scoring percentage in the NFL. They only score on 30.2% of their drives. Now, the other thing here is, too, though, is that the Giants, if you can probably get away not turning the ball over against Philadelphia hasn't forced too many turnovers this year. They have the 4th lowest turnover percentage, 4.1%. So there's not a lot of turnovers being forced or coming from this Philadelphia Eagles defense. So it's on Daniel Jones not to be doing Daniel Jones things. Like, you can't have that red zone toss-up ball like he had last week, you know, because the Eagles aren't going to – they haven't been making plays by themselves, so you cannot give them free turnovers like Daniel Jones did last week. Now, the sacks is a really interesting situation too, because I think, you know, that kind of goes back to what you were saying about the quarterbacks. The New York Giants, obviously, we all know, have the most sacks in the NFL. A lot of that is due to schedule, but still, it still takes getting to the quarterback. Let's just, I want to be fair to a certain extent when it comes to that, right? They have 26 sacks on the year. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, on the other hand, they're 24th in the league in sacks. They only have 11 sacks all year long.
Half of those came last week against the Browns, too.
Exactly. So you should be able to, even though you have the issue with no Andrew Thomas, you should be able to find a way, hopefully, to, you know, protect Daniel Jones enough to where he can get the ball out of his hands to Malik Neighbors. And at least, you know, that should be another point of emphasis on the run game as well. The Eagles coming into this game 6th in the NFL in rushing, averaging 146.2 yards per game. Giants' rush defense is getting better. They are now 18th in the league. They're only allowing 116.3 yards per game on the ground. So there's a 30-yard difference there. Like I said, I think Saquon's really going to be coming out trying to prove something as well, to not just himself and to his team, to the New York Giants, the city, the organization, everybody in that stadium, everybody that's watching that game. He knows that the spotlight's going to be on him in this game to a certain extent. So that's going to be really important. But some of the things where I mentioned that they're very close in proximity as far as statistics go is third down defense, Philadelphia Eagles, 34.5%. New York Giants, 34.3%. Offensively on third down, Philadelphia Eagles, 39.7%. New York Giants, 36.8%. Now, I talked about the New York Giants needing to score points. We already know. I think the Carolina Panthers are averaging more points than the New York Giants right now.
I'm going to say they're a little less.
Giants
were 28th, I want to say.
The New York Giants have the 4th lowest, which is 16 points per game. I think Carolina's averaging 17 point something, so a point higher for Carolina. Philadelphia Eagles are scoring about 21.
Who the 4 other teams or the 3 other teams are?
The Dolphins.
Dolphins are definitely one.
And Raiders?
Huh.
I think so. I think it is. And with another one that's really interesting is, especially coming from Philadelphia, because we've been known for Philadelphia to be very efficient in the red zone. You know, red zone maniac, Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. Both of these teams are tied for 7th worst red zone percentage in the NFL. They are both 44.4% in the red zone this year. So it was kind of a little bit of an eye opener when I really started digging into some of these numbers to see how, you know, close they were in a lot of categories that I deem to be very important, especially in matchups like this where there's a lot on the line, you know, division matchup. So I was kind of shocked, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, there's some blatant, obvious differences. You know, the explosive play versus a non-explosive play. I didn't even look into those numbers, but I'd imagine there's a significant difference in the two. Though
maybe not with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith.
I was just about ready to say that, but them being out might be a little bit different. Goddard's out in this game, I believe. I think he's going to be missing some time, so it's going to be interesting. You know, the Giants are going to have their hands full, but I am curious to see Malik Neighbors bounce back against this defense. It's just, you got to be able to find a balance if you're the Giants, right? I know you're getting Malik Neighbors back, and there's probably going to be itching to get him the ball, but you cannot forget about the run game. It's so important, and I really think that Tracy proved himself, and I feel like you said, early and often, you know, do your best to keep this offense off the field for Philadelphia, and more importantly, keeping your defense off the field. That was one of the first things I talked about, was that the defense is the identity of the Giants, or it should be the identity of the Giants. And you want to be able to keep your defense.
It absolutely is right now. Like, the offense is non-existent.
Yeah, so you have to be able to keep them fresh to a certain extent. 3 and outs, you know, those 30-second off the clock sort of drives, you can't have those, you know. And the other thing is, too, is that if you're going to sustain these drives, you have to find a way to put points on the board. Field goals, touchdowns, whatever it is, you got to score. You can't keep going by scoring 16 points a game. That's just not going to be sufficient in today's football. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. My initial thought was I've been back and forth, right? Like I wanted to pick the Giants to win this game. And then we talked about it last week or earlier this week, and it's our home game, and I'm like, I can't pick the Giants to win at home. You know, like the numbers just don't just give me enough evidence to do that. And then when I started digging into the numbers, I was like, the Giants do realistically, I think, have a shot right now against this Philadelphia Eagles team in the way that they're playing right now. You know, and there's a little bit of obvious turmoil maybe to the public eye. We don't really know. But, you know, there's some stuff going on there with Nick Sirianni and maybe Sirianni and Hurts, but that's a whole different level of gossip game, and that doesn't necessarily translate to the field all the time. But if the New York Giants want a chance at the Philadelphia Eagles, I feel like this week right now is a good striking opportunity, but I just don't see them being able to produce enough offensively to win this game.
I think before you give your score here, I think it would have been better to play them 3 weeks ago. You know, now that you got A.J. Brown back in the lineup,
yeah, that makes sense too.
This is going to be – the Giants are going to have to get off to a fast start. That, to me, that's the only way they win this game. And honestly, I want to see them commit to the run, but they're going to need the explosive plays. The fast start is what's most important to me, though. The Eagles have not scored a point in the first quarter all year long. The Eagles have 5 opening drives for a total of 22 yards on the season. So we need that trend to continue if the Giants want to have a chance here. You got to score the points, just like you were talking about. The Eagles aren't averaging a ton of points themselves either. They're 18th in the league at 21.2 points per game. But the Giants, when you get down there, you have to score. At home in the red zone, we're 1 of 7 on the year. That has to change within this game. Daniel Jones has to get a passing touchdown at MetLife Stadium. We haven't seen that since last year in September. Let's start, taking baby steps here and at least get a passing touchdown at home in front of these fans. You talked about the red zone scoring. We're 25th in the league in red zone scoring. That has to get cleaned up. And, this is one of those games where you know it, and everyone in that stadium is going to know it, that it's going to be all eyes on Saquon. It's not going to be a part of it. The circus show is going to be Saquon Barkley in this game. So I don't think he's going to run harder, run tough or anything like that, but he is looking for a bounce-back game. I mean, he averaged under 3 yards per carry last week. I think it was 18 carries for 47 yards. So he's going to want to get that better. The Giants' defense is much improved, so we're not going to just allow teams to just walk us down the field and run the ball all over us like we used to do a couple of years ago. I expect this defense to hold up and hold up strong in this one. The explosive plays is where it's going to be. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith last week both had explosive plays for a touchdown. The Eagles had 8 explosive plays last week against the Browns alone. 0 of those were from Saquon Barkley. I'm sure he's going to want to get in the mix, but A.J. Brown is the difference maker here. Just looking at what A.J. Brown did last season with the Philadelphia Eagles, and when he stopped producing, that team stopped producing because they rely on the fade route, the one-on-one matchups with A.J. Brown to be able to make those explosive plays happen. He went 5 straight games without 100 yards dating back to last season. He had 6 straight 100-yard games to start the year last year from weeks 3 through 8, and then he had just 1 100-yard game from weeks 9 to 17. So that trickled into the season along with that injury as well. Now you got your number 1 explosive play guy back in the mix and your number 2 guy as far as Devonta Smith, who really feeds off of what A.J. Brown does. When A.J. Brown is starting to draw some attention towards himself, Devonta Smith is going to be that guy that you got to watch out for those little underneath crossing routes and all that stuff. A.J. Brown coming off 116 yards and a touchdown last week. We know it's 10 times more likely that you will score a touchdown if you have just 1 explosive play, which is why I think A.J. Brown is the big factor, going up against the Giants for the Eagles, but also getting Malik Neighbors back into the lineup. He's a guy that doesn't necessarily have to have Daniel Jones throw him the ball deep down the field to create those explosive plays. He can take a 10-yard comeback, make a man miss, and maybe get 25 yards on the play. So I think those are going to be the 2 most important matchups. Obviously the quarterbacks, but also who has the bigger game, A.J. Brown, or is it going to be Malik Neighbors in this one? I want to see Brian Dable continue to utilize the screen game as well, too, because that's another way that you can generate explosive plays without having to throw the ball down the field. Now, I think there's still something wrong with Daniel Jones' post-neck injury. I still think that because the way that he is throwing the deep ball this year and dating back to last year when you saw him come back against the Raiders before he blew out his knee, to me, it doesn't look like quite the same quarterback. And I'm not sitting up here saying that Daniel Jones was a great deep ball thrower like some of these Giants fans say. I don't know where they're getting this data from, but some of them say that. But the explosive plays is where it's going to be. a big emphasis on Brian Dable to scheme them up because he doesn't have a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field to make that happen. So for me, I do think that this is a game that's going to be close. These two teams are pretty fairly matched, but when you look at the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that's where they have the edge. Where are you going with your score on this one?
Man, I went back and forth, man, but I don't see the Giants being able to put up the points. I'm gonna go Eagles 24, Giants 17.
Ooh, I like the 24 with the Eagles. I'm going 24-20 in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this is a bit of a get-right type of game, and it honestly would not surprise me if they come out here and beat the Giants by 2 scores. But seeing the data that we've seen throughout the first 5 to 6 weeks here of football, I think it should be a close game, but it's not close enough for me to pick the New York Giants.
Big shout out to independent outsider Dave Denton. Shout out to Awthentik because we were just literally on the same page right there just now. To give Saquon and Philly a message, TJ Tracy needs to put Roland the man. My fan idea would be then he comes out running.
Running Gale?
Running Gale?
No
booze, just silence.
Let me try to piece this together real quick. To give Saquon and Philly a message, Tyrone Tracy, right, needs to put Roland the man. Maybe this is a pun I'm not getting. It feels like a song, don't it? Don't it feel like a song?
Maybe he meant to put DJ Tracy. Is DJ Tracy like the guy who handles the music for MetLife Stadium?
Could possibly.
And then Roland the man is maybe a song?
Yeah, I'm scrolling down to see if he's in the chat to explain it. Yo, I really don't know. But big shout out, independent outsider, man. Yo, salute to you for supporting the channel, dog. We definitely appreciate that, my guy.
Big shout out, independent outsider. Sebastian is in the chat too. Go Jordan Love, not Jalen Hurts in fantasy. Just want to answer your question right there, bud.
Oh, Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts? Who the Packers got this week?
Houston Texans.
Whew, that's gonna be a good game. I got
Sure
to get ready for that, man. Get some special cleats. You see me wearing that all white.
All white? Them toes is so clean, dog.
Yeah, those are clean, bro. All right, let's get off into your matchup here, man. The Washington Commanders are going to welcome the Carolina Panthers to I can't get this Northwest Stadium thing right.
It's never. I mean, listen, there's always going to be something changing. Hopefully, no more.
Every damn year, bro. Every
the stadium,
year. Right.
a name, all types of stuff.
So the Washington Football Commanders are going to welcome the Carolina Panthers to Northwest Field here. Let's get into it. All right, I'm looking forward to this one here. I do think that this is a very get-right game after that loss this past week for the Commanders. The Panthers come in 1-5. Whew, smoking hot right now for a bunch of L's with Andy Dalton at quarterback. Commanders are sitting at 4-2. This one is Sunday at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Commanders are favored by 8. The over-under is 51.5. I'm not feeling. I don't think we're going to get there in either one of these games. Last week, the Commanders lost to the Ravens 30-23 in a game that the score was not really indicative of how, I won't say how bad the Ravens beat y'all, but the gap between these two teams on Sunday. The Panthers lost to the Falcons 38-20. Last meeting, Washington did beat the Panthers 27-21. That was in 2021 in Carolina. Revenge game for Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin in this one in the Ron Rivera Bowl. There are a lot of people on the injury report for the Carolina Panthers. I saw 18 names on that list. We won't go through all of them. I'll just go through some of the key guys here. Chuba Hubbard, Dante Johnson, Ashawn Robinson, Jonathan Brooks, Jadeveon Clowney, and some mo. That's what I put on the notes, and some mo. Now, Washington has won 3 of the past 4 meetings here. The Panthers have won 3 of the past 4 visits to FedEx, Northwest, whatever field you want to call it. The Panthers have won 3 or 4 matchups there. The Panthers have lost 4 straight games, and they've been outscored by exactly double the amount of points that they have scored, 108-54. And the Panthers defense, we've been talking about the New York Giants and how they can't score points, right? The Panthers defense is allowing 33.8 points per game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's the 9th most, okay? It's the 9th most, not this year, ever. It's the 9th most points allowed ever, okay? Panthers are allowing teams to convert in the red zone 77% of the time, is second worst in the NFL. I think the key for both of these teams is going to be to run the damn ball. Commanders got to get back to it. They had a season low last week, 52 yards versus Baltimore. if Brian Robinson can't go, Austin Eckler, we're going to need you to step up in this game. Chuba Hubbard is also coming into this one banged up. He's averaged over 100 yards rushing over the past 4 games. He's averaging 5.9 yards per carry as well. So I definitely think got to commit to the run here. And Johnny Newton is going to get the start in this game at D tackle with Jonathan Allen out for the year. The Commanders did also sign Sheldon Day recently as well, so they got a little competition going on there, bringing in a guy who has some experience. Jaden Daniels, man, this dude has been playing some really good football. You talked about Pepsi Rookie of the Week again. This is now 5 times that he's already had that award this year. We're entering week 7. That means he hasn't gotten it in just 1 week, which is kind of crazy. Uh-huh. Daniels is the only player to throw for 1,400 yards and run for 300 in his first 6 games ever. And he threw for a career high last week, 269 yards against the Ravens. He had the 2 touchdowns in the back of the end zone to Terry McLaurin. I'd look for Jaden Daniels to really, start with the running game to kind of get things going, get things developed and whatnot. And then I expect him to torch this Carolina Panthers defense. I mean, they're just not a good team. Andy Dalton kind of gave him a spark off the bench for a little bit, but now Andy Dalton is 0 for 3 in his last 3 games. So I think the Carolina Panthers are the worst team in the league right now, sitting right underneath those Cleveland Browns. And you can maybe lump in New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars somewhere in that bunch too. And then I think the New York Giants are in tier above, whatever you want to call those teams. But what are you looking forward to in this matchup with these 2 teams?
It looks like Brian Robinson is going to play. To what extent, I'm not 100% sure, but he was back at practice in full, I believe, today. So that's going to be huge for us. And then you mentioned, Newton stepping in for Jonathan Allen. Between him and Mathis, I think that's going to be an interesting sort of rotation there in the middle of that front. So that'll be big for them. I mean, listen, I tried. I really did. Because, listen, I love me some Chuba. I've been a Chuba guy for a long time. Yep. It's kind of good to see him getting his action. I love Dante Johnson. What's interesting is that I thought that this Dante Johnson move was going to be big for Carolina, big for Bryce Young. Obviously, it ended up not working in the beginning stages here. They moved to Andy Dalton, and Dante Johnson's been fantastic ever since Andy Dalton became the quarterback there. But, Leggett also, I think, is banged up a little bit too. He's kind of, him and Keon Coleman are kind of like in this same sort of phase where they're both really good wide receivers. I think they have a bright future in the league, but they're still a little bit raw. And so it's a little bit difficult to kind of gauge them. But obviously, Washington's defense, pass defense specifically, is pretty horrendous. There's opportunities here for the run defense isn't much better either. I mean, the run defense is pretty bad also. So there's opportunities here for Carolina. I think Carolina can move the ball against this team. I'm just kind of, hoping that this is an opportunity for Washington's defense to kind of do what they did against Cleveland. I think Carolina's offense is better than Cleveland's offense. So that'll be a little bit better of a test for this defense. But Carolina's pretty bad. Okay, they have the 5th highest turnover percentage in the NFL. 14.5% turnover rate, which is absolutely crazy. They have the 5th lowest scoring percentage. They're only scoring on 29% of their drives. They also struggle to get to the quarterback. Defensively, they have the 6th fewest. Offensively, they are actually good against the front getting to the quarterback. They've only allowed 12 sacks all year long. So 6th fewest sacks allowed. So, a lot of that I'm sure has to do with Andy Dalton, veteran sort of style of playing the position, knowing to get rid of the rock. But that's a test. I kind of focused in on that number because I want to see Washington's defense improve in that aspect of the game, getting to the quarterback. Now, they points and yards and all that stuff, it's bad. 23rd in the league in passing yards per game at 187, so they can't even get to 200. 22nd in running yards per game at 111. They have their 5th worst in points per game, 17.2, so that's 1.2 points more than the New York Giants.
What was the sack number that you had on them as a team?
Allowed 12 sacks.
7 of them are from Bryce Young.
Yeah.
That's definitely Andy Dalton.
Yeah. So
Bryce Young didn't throw a touchdown before they benched him.
It felt like he got benched after 1 game, though.
I think it was 2 games. I think after week 2, they benched him.
So at this point, though, I don't know why they just don't. I mean, they're 1-5. They put in Andy Dalton because he gives them a better chance to win. I mean, you might as well play Bryce Young at this point, right?
Yeah, you're right. And maybe just like the last week, maybe another week before they go back. Because, I mean, these reps would be important for him, you know?
Yeah, and if they don't, at least you can get a little bit more of an idea of what you have in him. Because at this point, I mean, they're looking like they're going to draft a quarterback.
You think they will? You think they'll do that again? That will be such a quick time to give up on a number one pick. I don't think we've ever seen nothing like that, right? A
Josh
number one
Rosen.
pick. Josh Rosen was what, 1 or 2 years?
I think it was 1 year.
Yeah, because he ended up being the starter. He wasn't the starter day one, but then he ended up being the starter. Why do I feel like it might have been 2 years? Maybe it was 1 though.
But yeah, it's possible.
But Josh
right?
Rosen wasn't the number one pick either. That's the most important part about it. He wasn't picked. He wasn't selected number 1. He was selected like number 10.
Yeah, was it that low? I thought he was a top 5 pick.
Nah, Josh Rosen is the same draft as Baker Mayfield, right? I'm pretty sure that was all 2018, and Josh Allen went before Josh Rosen, didn't he?
I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up.
But yeah, I think that they have to. I mean, listen, if you draft a guy number 1 overall and
10 on the button.
10 on the button.
Yep, 2018.
If you draft a guy number 1 overall and then you you benched him at this point, like it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like
no,
like it doesn't make sense to you and me, but it makes sense based upon the actions that they've already taken. You know,
yeah, and I feel like he missed a couple of games to injury the year before. So you're letting a guy just play 1 season as the number 1 pick, and you gave up on him after, let's say, 18, 19 games maximum.
I mean, they have one of the worst owners. They have the worst owner in the NFL right now. So I wouldn't.
Yeah,
put
the general manager is
them.
definitely giving all general managers across the NFL a run for their money for the worst general manager because they're just a bad team.
Yeah, they're a bad organization right now. So shout out to the Carolina Panthers. We appreciate you guys taking over that reign from the Washington Commanders now that we've moved on to bigger and better things. Third downs, they're 7th worst in the NFL, 31%. I mean, for me, this is a Washington game to kind of get back to what you were doing to win games before the Ravens game. It was good to see that you competed with the Ravens. You know, there was some obvious things defensively that looks like it's going to take time to fix. It looks like that last defensive performance against the Browns was more of a matchup situation. So you're going to have to keep improving that defense, whether that's with the personnel you have now or you go out and make a move between now and the deadline. You know, that's something that's still to be seen. But also, I think you want to get back to that pass-run balance. I think getting Brian Robinson back will help that a lot. Controlling the clock, which is something that we were not able to do against the Baltimore Ravens, mostly in part because we decided that we weren't going to try and run the ball. I almost said Notre Dame. The Washington Commanders, right? They have the second most time. I think it's either number 1 or number 2. Time average per drive. So each one of their drives averages 3 minutes and 22 seconds.
I like the average. I'm not a big supporter of the long, lengthy drive. Mm-hmm. I'm not a supporter of that. And more first downs. I'm not a supporter of that either. I'm more like, man, give me the explosive plays, bro. Give me a 40-yard chunk. Give me 1 first down and get the ball in the damn end zone.
And see, that's what I feel like Washington's been really good at is that balance between those two things. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that sort of progressively getting better, especially with the explosive plays. It wasn't necessarily there in the first 2 weeks of the season, but
Absolutely.
Since then, they've definitely been able to hit that approach of the explosive play while maintaining possession for good lengths of time to keep that defense, which is their weak suit, off of the field.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to point out before we get to the roadmap is you just continue to put points up on the board. And they're averaging the most points per drive in the NFL. Nobody's averaging more points per drive in the NFL than Washington Commanders. They're averaging 3.24 points per drive. So, I mean, you have a good opportunity here to really even make that a higher number against this Carolina Panthers offense. But, I mean, listen. We're going to hit this roadmap, and it's starting to feel like the route. Awthentik will know what that is.
Yeah.
It's starting to feel like the route, but I'm going to throw in a couple of pit stops along the way to the destination. But let's go ahead and hit the roadmap.
What the hell? Yeah, you getting on the freeway.
What? No, turn right. Get out of the lane. No. Okay, get the position. Just get out the lane.
Oh, yeah. That's the beat I want. Listen, first stop along the way. We're going to get right to it. 30 points. You better not walk out the door with anything less than 30 points against the Carolina
That's to
Panthers.
feed y'all ego right there. That's what that is.
I want to get back to running the damn ball. I need 150 on the ground. Carolina is allowing 153.5 on the year, so I need at least $150. I'm requesting, I'm demanding, I am in need of 2 turnovers forced by this defense in this game. Okay, we got to start forcing turnovers, especially against bad teams. And I talked about how Carolina has been able to protect their quarterback, or Andy Dalton has been able to protect himself. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Washington Commanders are going to get 5 sacks in this game against the Carolina Panthers. Then, defensively, I'm putting a lot on the defense here. You're going to hold Chuba Hubbard under 100. You're going to hold Dante Johnson under 100.
Oh, easy work.
And the last 2, well, it's not easy work for the Commanders defense. We let Zay Flowers have 132 yards in the first half last week.
I mean, that's Zay Flowers. Ain't no damn Dante Johnson.
Dante Johnson been eating. And the last 2 stops are the 2 stops that we always hit before we get off of the road, park the car, take the seatbelts off, close the door, hit the beat, win the time of possession and third downs, and you will walk away with an easy victory here at Northwest Field.
Northwest. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say y'all don't got to make any of those stops on the road map, and y'all still win by 2 touchdowns. Carolina Panthers are – I ain't going to disrespect them, but Carolina Panthers are not a good ball team.
No,
it's not a good ball team.
Not a good ball team.
Yeah, definitely not. But this should be a, don't let this game get interesting. You're going to be sweating on
That's what I'm
Sunday.
saying. Like, I don't want it to get to that point. I want it to just press the gas pedal, okay? Who should be driving this car to this roadmap? The type of driving I need? I need some Mike Lowry behind
Mike
the wheel.
Lowry. I
Mike
thought you were going to go with
Lowry.
one of the homies or something like that. I was
Nah.
thinking Pietro. I was
Mike
kind of thinking
Lowry.
Josie a little bit. Like, we getting there.
Yeah, we got one of those speeding tickets in the mail the other day. And I'm like, the best thing about them speeding tickets is they give you the time and the date and everything.
Yep.
I
See them on the road and everything. That's not me.
I go straight to my phone. I'm like, I was filming a video here in the studio at the time that ticket happened. So it wasn't me, my love. I still
like
love
it.
you, though.
So what you got for the score for this one?
Washington Commanders 38, Carolina Panthers 17.
You say 38, and like normally I'd be like, what? But like it makes sense this year. It's kind of wild. I'm gonna go 33. Let's go 33-19 in favor of the Carolina Panthers.
What?
I'm just playing. Man. I had to see if you was on your toes on your A game one time.
Yeah, I'm always on my A game.
We'll go 33-19 in favor of the Commanders, obviously.
Okay.
All right, let's get into this last game and then get everybody up out of here, man. Just 3 games today. This is going to be the battle of the 2 rookie quarterbacks, one of them coming off the bench. This should be interesting. All right, let's be short and sweet with this one here. The Broncos coming in, bad team. Surprisingly, 3-3 though. Pretty bad team. Defense. Saints coming in, they're a pretty bad team too. Coming in 2-4. Got a 4-game losing streak, but somehow you sitting at 2-4. This is a revenge game for Sean Payton. The Broncos are favored by 2. Over-under is just 37 in this one. Last week, the Broncos lost to the Chargers, 23-16. The Saints lost to the Bucs. Man, the Bucs put up over 600 yards of total offense in that game, and Baker had like 2 or 3 interceptions. Man, they could have put up 1,000 yards in that game, it seemed like. But the Saints ended up losing to the Bucs 51-27. Last meeting between these 2 teams, the Saints beat the Broncos, beat them bad too, 31-3 in 2020. That one was in Denver. The Broncos are actually 2-1 on the road this year. So maybe that's where they can maybe have their saving grace in this game, is that they have played better on the road. The Broncos have won 5 of the past 6 meetings, 3 straight in New Orleans as well. The Saints are on this 4-game losing streak after scoring 91 points in their first 2 games. I told the Beard they were going to come back down to earth. He did not disagree, but I just wanted to just say that. Like, I told y'all that they were going to come back down to earth, and the Saints are not really a good team. Some key injuries coming into this game, too. You got cornerback Patrick Surtain. He's going to miss this one. He's in the concussion protocol right now. Derek Carr is going to miss his second straight game with the oblique injury. Chris Olave is not expected to play. I think he's ruled out. Rashid Shaheed is out for the year, which is crazy for them. So we're looking at no Derek Carr, no Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. Who are the wide receivers in this game? I don't know.
Bub, my man Bubs, not from the wire.
My man Bub's about to go out here and light it up.
Bub's about to have a game. Trust me. I got my guy Bubs. Bubs blowing up. Lineups. I forgot his last name. Means. I think his first name is Bubs. Last name Means.
No, I did see Means because I saw the initials on B Means. I was like, that's an interesting name right there.
That's Bubs. Okay.
Bubs Means. Bubs Means. All right, we're going to find out tonight. Broncos defense is the better of the 2 defenses, but like we talked about here, no Patrick Surtain is definitely going to hurt them. But the Broncos defense is number 4 overall in the entire league. The Saints defense that I was raving about in those first 2 games about Dennis Allen and all the stuff that he's been doing over there, dead last in the NFL right now. The number 32 ranked defense. Cannot believe it. Now, Bo Nix going up against Spencer Rattler. This should be a really fun one. I'm probably going to chart these quarterbacks and probably put these up on the channel as well. Entering the 4th quarter last Sunday against the Chargers, Bo Nix was 4 of 14 for 27 yards.
No way.
Entering the 4th quarter.
But the Chargers have a really good defense, too. The Chargers might have the number 1 defense in the league.
Bro, that is insanity. He also had 1 interception and was sacked twice. Got into the 4th quarter. He put up damn near 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in just the 4th quarter. Yes. And he had a passer rating of 143.2. Do you believe in garbage time now?
That wasn't garbage time, though.
They were down 20-0. 23-0.
But they
were like,
game,
let's
right?
go hurry up offense for the rest of the game. And that man started putting up points. Now, Bo Nix on the year, he's thrown for 1,082 yards, 8 total touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 5 passing touchdowns on the year. It's not too bad. I mean, the narrative in New York around our quarterback was a little different. The numbers don't look that different. Now, Spencer Rattler got his first start last week in his NFL debut, 22 of 40 for 243 yards. He had 1 touchdown, but he did have 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions in that game. The Bucs have been a really good team, though. Listen, I'm rooting for the Rat tonight, okay?
I saw that on Twitter. Listen, I like it. I like it, too. And I think there's a little underlying there, though. I think you want to see Spencer Rattler do good so that you guys can rub it in Joe Shane's face a little bit.
A little bit, but I'm a fan of the Rat. I like his game. He's a little semi-mobile. He's like a little fake-ass Caleb Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't quite got the arm talent.
Fake-ass Patrick Mahomes.
That too, yeah, that too, definitely. Because Caleb Williams is a fake-ass Patrick Mahomes, right now. So my man Spencer the Rat, he's a fake-ass Caleb Williams. So I'm looking for him to go out here and ball out, man. What is that?
Does he have a rat tail?
I don't think so.
That'd be awesome.
Nah, I don't know about that, bro. The brothers with the rat tail, that was back in the late 80s. We over that.
Bring it
But
back.
he is going to be missing 3 offensive linemen tonight, so he's probably going to be running for his life. I'd rely on Kamara in this one. He's tied for 2nd in rushing touchdowns in the league with 6. He's 7th in rushing yards. He's number 2 of all fantasy players right now. Alvin Kamara has been going crazy. He does have the 4th most rushing attempts in the NFL. I'd rely on the run heavy in this one. Don't let the Rat get to 40. Let the Rat get to 30. I think the Saints can win this game. What's your thoughts?
I listen. This is at first I was looking at these 2 teams and I was looking at I was putting together DraftKings lineups, and I'm just like, this is really bad. Javonte Williams, who I really liked, it has been horrible. When are they gonna put my boy Audric Estehim?
Estehim, not Estime.
Put him in, because my guy from Notre Dame is a dog. Okay. Remember a few weeks back, and I was telling about I was picking some sleepers on the parlay every Sunday, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Awthentik and the Beard. I was talking about the wide receiver for the Broncos. I don't even know how to say his last name. Vale?
I'm not hip. I'm Veli.
Okay, the first game of the season, he had a crazy game, and then he just, I don't know if he was hurt or what, he just didn't play since that game. And he was supposed to come back in the game when I was putting him in my sleeper section, and he was like a scratch like 20 minutes before kickoff. I'm like, what the hell is going on? He came back last week, balled out again. So there's a guy like, he's in the mix, and then, you have Cortland Sutton, and then it's like,
Cortland Sutton's getting a ton of their targets too.
yeah, because they don't really. The tight end position is like non-existent in Denver too. I'm gonna go on. Sean Payton is extremely overrated, I believe, at this stage in his career.
Oh, only reason why I can't say that is because when you put pen to paper in the past, it affects the future.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton has done it. He been there. He done that. It's the same kind of disrespect I hear on Bill Belichick today, and I'm like, I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then maybe I should choose a different word. But
It's
what
that New York
he's
Giants
doing,
tree too.
what he's doing right now is not working. And
It's not.
And
But look at that roster, man. I mean, but that is on him as well too.
Yeah.
He's the one that wanted to part ways with Russell Wilson. When did they trade? I believe it was a trade with Tim Patrick to the Detroit Lions. When did that happen?
No, I think they cut him.
Oh my God. That's crazy. You
Yeah,
lacking wide receiver talent over there. You already traded
They
Jerry
traded
Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy, cut
Yeah.
Tim Patrick. I guess, and so it's kind of tough with these two rosters. I like Rattler too, and I think that I wasn't a big Bo Nix guy coming out. I thought he was good. I thought he was overdrafted. I thought he performed well in the preseason. He's a gamer, though. I think both of these guys
Absolutely.
are gamers, and
Yes.
I think that makes it fun to watch from a fan.
You know what's
perspective.
so just to like not to morph the conversation, but when you say that gamer, that title you put on a quarterback, how many quarterbacks in the league? Because look, I'm gonna just straight up say it. Daniel Jones is not a gamer.
No.
Name another quarterback in the NFL that's not a gamer?
Sometimes I think about Kirk Cousins, but
Kirk Cousins is a gamer,
but
bro.
he is. But that's what I'm saying is that sometimes I think that I'm not saying that he isn't, but like sometimes I get that feeling from him, and then he
They're all
proves
gamers.
me wrong.
They're all you have to have that at the quarterback position in the NFL. You know what's my favorite gamer quarterback?
Baker Mayfield. I love
Baker Mayfield, bro.
I mean,
Baker be out there, he be trucking. Man, get your ass back in the huddle. I love
I don't know.
Baker.
It's kind of interesting. Like I'm trying to think of one. Like
There's no other
there has to
quarterbacks
be-
in the
there
NFL
has
that is
to
not
be.
a gamer
Daniel Jones
except Daniel
can't be
Jones.
the only non-gamer.
Is Trevor Lawrence not a gamer?
Nah, I see Trevor Lawrence is a gamer, but he's kind of like Kirk Cousins to me, where there's sometimes you watch him and you're like, he's
Yeah.
playing a little slow for me. I don't,
Man,
but
bro,
no,
all
Daniel
these guys
Jones
are
is
gamers, bro. Every last quarterback in the league is a gamer except Daniel Jones. Gamer is a thing like you
Gardner
ain't got no
Minshew's
swag,
a gamer.
bro.
Gardner
Minshew's
Minshew's a gamer.
But Gardner Minshew was on the sidelines eating his boogers last week. That
Yeah.
shit was not okay.
Listen, man,
Hey, all the Gardner Minshew hype, I'm done with it. It's over. He's a booger eater, man. I can't be hyping that shit up.
Man, listen, you got sometimes if you want to play the quarterback position, you
I
gotta
felt
be able
bad
to eat a
for
booger or two.
I felt bad for him, bro. I'm like, fuck is you doing eating your boogers on the sideline,
No,
bro?
people have been eating boogers on the sidelines, since black and white football.
Nah, bro,
okay, it's just
Nah,
now
bro.
in 2024 they got 17,000 cammers on.
Bro,
a
they
guy.
put him on the bench. He knew the cameras was going to be on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. They put you on the bench and you turn to eating your boogers. That shit's crazy, man.
Aiden O'Connell is not a gamer.
Hey, I don't know, bro.
He's not
I
a
don't
gamer.
know. Not enough data. I don't know.
Not enough data.
Not enough
Listen,
data.
What about Deshaun Watson? Is Deshaun Watson a gamer
He's a gamer.
right now?
He's a gamer. God, man, he's a gamer, bro. It ain't working for him, but he going out there fucking up. He trying. You know
So
what I'm saying?
we've come to the conclusion
You wanna know
that
how you
Daniel
know he's a
Jones is
gamer?
the only non-gamer in the NFL. The quarterback.
You want to know how you know Deshaun Watson is a gamer, though? Is because he holds on to the ball too damn long, trying to make plays. Literally in an offense that is designed for him to get the ball out quickly. He's like, I'm not throwing that shit. I'm going to hold the ball, and I'm going to try to run around and take sacks. He's a gamer. Too much of a gamer.
There's not another non-gamer then. It's
There's
just
not
Daniel
one.
Jones.
There's not one. There can't be one. No one. When they talk about that it factor and shit, there's no other quarterbacks except Daniel Jones. And you're like, that dude just don't got it. All right. I went left, man. My bad.
Nah,
I'm just
it's
saying.
good. Shout out
I'm
Sebastian.
just
I
saying.
think we gave you some good material here
I'm
this last
just
couple of
saying, bro.
minutes.
I'm just saying, bro.
Oh.
Dude is not a gamer, bro.
He's not a
gamer.
He's not a gamer. I mean, I'm starting to feel bad for Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
a
I
little
know.
bit, right?
I know. Hey, he got a lot of money. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be all right. I'm gonna go Denver 24, New Orleans Saints 17.
All right, so you're picking the Broncos in this one. The Saints' injuries are going to kill them, but I'm rooting for the Rat. I don't mind taking an L for the Rat today. I don't mind. I'm going with the Saints in this one. I'm going to go 24 seems too high for either one of these offenses. This is going to be one of them Thursday night games.
I had 2017 at first, and I crossed it out. And I was
I'm going 16-13 Saints.
13.
Make it 17-13 Saints. 17-13 Saints.
Oh my God.
The tank says that Will Levis is not a gamer. I don't know.
Nah, Will Levis is a gamer. There's a big difference between So I think some people are thinking that a gamer means that you're not playing the position.
Yeah,
well,
like a gamer
right?
means you're good. Like,
nah. A gamer is like, you know what I'm saying? In the early stages, okay, of Johnny Moxon's career, right? He wasn't a gamer.
He was not a gamer. He was on the sideline reading books, you know, instead of his playbook.
But then, you know, he went to a couple of keg parties. You know,
Do you
went
remember
to a strip club.
the moment? Do you remember the moment where he became a gamer?
What is the moment that he became?
The moment was when he was in practice and he went in the huddle and he said, "All right, y'all, look, we're gonna run this shit called the oop-de-oop." Right? And what's crazy is people run that shit today, right? He said, "Are we gonna go 5 wide receivers to the right?" All right, and everyone lined up. And then what's Angelina Jolie's dad's name? What's his name? John Voight.
Voight.
Man,
yeah.
He came over there with I wish I had a string, right? He came with the clipboard. He was like, he was abusing him. He was abusing him right there. But that was when he became a gamer, right there. He was like, I don't give a goddamn what this coach talking about. We running the oop-de-oop. All right, I run the show here.
See, that's a gamer.
Gamer is
Jones ain't
Tim
doing
Hasselbeck
that.
going to do the coin toss in, was it a playoff game? And he said, it's heads, we want the ball, and we gonna score, and they didn't score. He's still a damn gamer, though, right?
You gotta be a gamer for that, man.
I can imagine Will Levis doing that exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at Will Levis, like, the way you can tell a gamer by the way they run off the field, you know what I'm saying? The way they take a hit, you know what I'm saying? When they score, you can't, none of this. Like, gamers don't do that.
Gamer
and
don't just jog off to the sideline when his team scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
Gamer
even
in that
Aaron
moment,
Rodgers
he's
will be like,
celebrating.
Right.
Right.
He'll tell the Chicago Bears, like, hey, I'm your
that
dad.
shit all year.
No, we haven't.
Seen that all year.
But you about to see it now. You see the clip, man. You see how happy he looked when Devontae.
Oh, yeah, on Pat McAfee?
Like, I said, that looks like Awthentik in the beard. Where he's just like, because over here, and then Devontae just kind of creeps in, tossing them. Like, that makes me happy as a football
facts.
fan.
I hope it pans out for them. I hope they can make a little run here.
Yeah, so that was a great way to end the show.
Yeah, man. So you going, you said 20?
I know. I upped my score.
24.
You dropped yours. I upped
24.
it. I said, 24-17, man.
You've been kind of right on these Thursday night games, though. I will give you that. Called a couple of boat races here. We got what we got? One more super chat before we get up out of here.
I think we
two
got
more.
two. Yeah. Big
more.
shout out Keith Wilson Jr. with a $4.99 super chat says salute with another Andrew Thomas injury. Should we make tackle a draft priority? Left, right,
Question.
left, right, left. Tired of his injuries wrecking the season.
Yeah, it's been a thing. That's a good question right there. I think they went the whole entire draft last year without drafting any offensive lineman or defensive lineman. You got to address the offensive line.
What did you guys draft? No quarterback, no lineman.
Yeah, no quarterback. So it's Malik Neighbors, Tyler Nubin at safety in the second round.
Which ended up
in the
being
third
a pretty
round.
good pick.
Pretty good pick. Andrew Phillips, which is a really good pick in the third round at slot corner. Fourth round was Theo Johnson at tight end. Fifth round was Tyrone Tracy. And then sixth round was Darius Muasawa, linebacker. He's been banged up.
Yeah, I mean, the O-line has looked a little bit better.
A little bit. The O-line has been great. The O-line is, no excuses. But now that Andrew Thomas is out, you're going to see these little weasels are going to just start to make their ways through the cracks, being like, but he didn't have Andrew Thomas. I hate it, bro. Shout out Keith Wilson Jr., man. His name reminds me of Charlie Wilson, man, the famous singer, man. That's what's up, man. Shout out to Keith Wilson.
And big shout out to Danny Thomas with a $5 super chat. Says, as a Giants fan living in the Bay Area, would you sign Justin Fields this offseason? I think he has looked good in his starts for the Steelers.
I'd be for it. I wanted to do that 2 years ago. Before we had signed Daniel Jones to the big contract, I would have loved to have traded for Justin Fields, who had 2 years left on the contract. I like his skill set a lot. And on the season this year, he's got 10 total touchdowns, 1 interception. I think this is a big mistake that Mike Tomlin is going to make here going to Russell Wilson. But if you're going to make that kind of mistake, Russell Wilson is the kind of quarterback I think that can cover up some of those deficiencies. He's still got some game left, so it might not look terrible. But I thought Justin Fields did everything to earn that job, even if Wilson was healthy, and to keep that job after playing, 5 weeks of ball and really not turning the ball over. And when I heard Greg Cosell say this today, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is built around what, DeBeard? What do you think their identity is? Is it passing or is it running?
It's supposed to be running the ball.
It's supposed to be running the ball. So why wouldn't you bring in the power quarterback that can run the ball better to add to that running game that you have? It just makes sense to me.
It's a weird situation. I think, though, I kind of think that there's good chemistry between Tomlin, Fields, and Wilson, right?
Yeah.
To the point where if it doesn't work, they can go back to Justin Fields, and I don't think it'll fracture anything in that locker room or the quarterback room or the head coach. So I think this is a very unique situation that you would not see anywhere else in the NFL work, or if it doesn't work, be able to back into the original plan and not being a turmoil sort of issue. So
yeah,
there is that. But as far as Justin Fields to the Giants go, I think it all depends on where you fall at the end of the season in the draft. I mean, like if you bring in Justin Fields,
imagine him being the bridge. Because now Daniel Jones is going to be a $40 million bridge quarterback, and that's kind of unacceptable. That's
not going to happen. But what is?
Don't say that, bro.
It shouldn't.
Don't say that.
Shouldn't happen.
We've been saying that shit for 3 years, man.
Yeah, we have. So
another thing to add to it, though, both those guys are on 1-year contracts because the Steelers declined Justin Fields' 5th-year option.
Yeah.
So I think that to look at the positives in bringing in Russell Wilson, you at least want to see what you got to try to figure out if maybe he could be the guy for next year. I think looking at Justin Fields this year, you could already come to a determination if you want to bring him back next year or not. I'm not saying you need to go one way or the other, but I would welcome him as the bridge quarterback. If he was like under $10 million a year, I would welcome him. I think he's a guy that you can make plays with. He's got the legs. He's got the running capability.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's an interesting thing, though. Maybe I wonder how much of that has to do with them going between the two of them. Both being on a 1-year contract, like just kind of you want to see which one you want to bring back.
Yeah, it kind of just dawned upon me. Like just thinking about it, I was like, oh wow, that is true. They're only on 1-year deals. I thought it was kind of foolish though to trade for Justin Fields, but then decline the 5th-year option. I thought that was a little weird. Like you would think you saw the upside in him and you would just get him for the 2 years and extend that rookie deal, I guess. But
hey, man, Mike Tomlin, best coach in football.
Yeah. I won't say the best coach in football. Top 5, though.
Guy's never had a losing season in his life. That is the most shit in the world.
I wouldn't trade being Andy Reid to be Mike Tomlin.
I will stand corrected.
Right. I would not trade.
I just had to
Andy Reid
I had to give a little love to my guy Mike.
Mike Tomlin's he's a dog and he's representing for the culture.
He's a gamer.
He's a gamer. Absolutely, he's a gamer. All right, man, so that's going to do it here, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you, OG Knockout. I see you. He said everything looks better on the Giants besides Daniel Jones. He's kind of right on that. The defense looks better. Offensive line looks better. Wide receiver and the weapons look better, I guess, sort of. Maybe not Jalen Hyatt thus far, but with Malik Neighbors in that room, it looks better. Our running game has been good enough considering we lost a star running back, but yeah, it's tough, man. Daniel Jones, the one guy that's been here, the one cockroach with the white dust on his back through the nuke. He's made his way. I don't know what it is, but we'll see, man. We'll see how things go. Giants better be proactive on that quarterback situation. Start thinking about that shit right now. Don't get into next year being like, are we going to maybe, restructure Daniel Jones' contract and all this? But I don't want none of that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. Beard, any last words before we get them up out of here for Thursday night football?
Big shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate all the love and all the support. Make sure you guys check us out Sunday morning at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the parlay. Also, make sure you guys are following us on Twitter so you guys can catch up with all of our experiences, especially with Awthentik being on Bleacher Report. Make sure you guys give us a follow over there. Besides that, man, enjoy the game. And, yeah, should be a little fun one here. The boa constrictor versus the rat.
The rat. That
it's like a
sound
DMX song.
It is. It
The
is.
snake.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to DMX.
The dog.
The snake is going to take care of the rat in that situation, but not tonight. Not tonight. Every time I kick it over to the beard and I say, "You got any last words?" He'd be like, "Nah, man," but then he just gives you some last words. I love that for the beard. I almost was going to go the whole season without saying that, but I love that right there. Shout out to the gang, man. We appreciate all y'all pulling up, rocking out with us today, man. Y'all know how we end every stream over here on Awthentik and the Beard. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. And a life without dreams is a life in black and white, y'all. Rest in peace to the GOAT, Combat Jack. Y'all know what it is, man. That's a wrap. Enjoy y'all Thursday night football. Don't forget to turn on that Prime Vision. I've been going back and forth from Prime Vision. If I go lay down on the bed, I put on the regular broadcast. If I sit up in my seat, I put on the Prime Vision. Definitely turn that on. It's a vibe. And we'll catch y'all on, Sunday for the parlay?
Parlay.
Sunday morning for the parlay. We'll catch y'all then. Y'all be good. Y'all appreciate y'all. Peace.